and welcome to The Path to Reason. I'm your host, Sini Plaza, and tonight we're going to talk about a very specific topic that's been very important to me in the last 2 years. It's surrogacy, because I've heard a lot of bad things recently about this. Richard Dawkins, in his latest big mistake, I'm going to call it, says that basically it shouldn't exist. I've heard even rational people like Matt Dillahunty or Shannon Q say they were not in favor of it. And so we're going to see tonight what it is, how it should be implemented, in my opinion, and what I think about the arguments against. So first, what is it? It's when, so I need to be careful with the words I use here. When a woman carries a child for someone else, so it can be a man or women, or a couple, or any shape or form of couple. So it's very important to note that for surrogacy, the surrogate mother is not genetically linked to the child. Otherwise, it's different. So in this case, a woman carries someone else's child. So usually the embryo is created in vitro, and then it's implemented into the woman, and then the child grows like this. So there are some countries where it's allowed and legislated, but that's pretty rare. It's allowed in the US, in Canada, in Ukraine, also I think in Spain. But in the rest of the world, it's either forbidden or neither allowed nor forbidden, which means it's not protected for everyone. So why I think it should be legalized everywhere is because, first of all, it's the only way some people, including trans people, can ever have a child. And especially now that transition starts younger and younger, which is a very, very good thing, but it doesn't allow those children to do the way I did it. It's preserving some sperm before the transition and then trying to use it afterwards. That's not possible if you started the transition as a kid. So I was going to say we need, but we should give the opportunity to these people to have a child if they want one, because it sometimes strikes me that conservative people tend to refuse non-natural couples to have children. Like gay couple, they, according to them, they shouldn't be able to have children. And I think that's to me, this idea is a bit short-sighted, because someone who will go through all the trouble to get a child this way, they will want it. And that's not something we can say about all children born from natural couple and natural ways. So that doesn't mean the parents will necessarily be doing a good job. Of course, everyone is different, and everyone is going to do mistakes. But you remove all this problem of unwanted children that's not taken care of and abandoned and or traumatized because of what their parents put them through. So Yeah, I think we should give those people, all those who can't have a child naturally, the ability to do it. Because there's also the question of whether we allow single people to do it. And I hear a lot of people say that a child needs two parents, preferably a man and a woman, but at least in any case, two parents. And I don't think that the scientific literature gives a lot of evidence on this side. And there's something that also is pretty striking is if someone tries to have a child and they're single, it doesn't mean they're going to be single all their life. I mean, that's I I don't think the case where a woman or a man decides to have children and will definitely stay single on purpose for the rest of their lives. So we already have families that dissolve and recreate, and with stepfathers, stepmothers, half siblings, and all that. So I don't see why we would prevent someone from having a child on this argument, because I don't think it stands. We have already thousands of parents, male and female, who raise their children by themselves. Yes, it's hard, but if someone chooses to do it and they have the capability to do it, I don't think we should prevent it. So just hi everyone in the chat. Thanks for being here. So Purple Rhymes with Orange says, all very true. Adoption system needs serious overhaul and have the religious bias removed. Surrogacy should also be an option for everyone. Yes. And so now we're going to talk about how I think it should be implemented. And this solution will be relatively close from what happens in Canada. So first of all, I think there should be a list of surrogate of women who apply to be surrogates, either a national list in a country that wants to implement it, or even better, but an international list, because we don't want poor women, especially poor women, to make this a living. So we need to limit the number of surrogacies in a woman's life. And to make sure this limitation applies, we need to keep a serious register of everyone who applies and everyone who goes through the procedure. So I think 2 or maybe 3 maximum surrogacies in one life, that's that should be enough. Again, I don't think it will be used by too many people, so I don't think this will be a problem. But yeah, I think we need at the same time to protect the women, and including those who apply to be surrogates, but also the society at large. And we cannot allow a society where women serve as incubators. I don't like this word, but that's the image I have, just because it's an easy way for them to live. They get some money with this, and this cannot happen. So we need to put in place some protection like this. And the first one is having this national list of all the volunteers and all the women who go through the procedure. The second thing we need to put in place, and that's, for now, I think it's done everywhere, whether it's in the US or Canada or even here in Belgium, where the situation is a bit weird. But surrogate mothers have to be advised and counseled by therapists, because we need to understand why a woman wants to go through this procedure, and make sure she doesn't do it for bad reasons. And so for that, and I know I'm trans, and a lot of trans fight and have fought to demedicalize our procedure, but I think this one should be medicalized, should be controlled by psychologists or psychiatrists, and the surrogate mother should be tested physically and mentally to make sure she will be able to handle the entire procedure, because we know that pregnancy does a lot of changes in the woman's body, and we have to I don't think we can't prevent, but we have to at least limit the number of cases where a woman agrees to follow the procedure, and then when she feels the child growing, then she starts getting attached to them, and then it can cause a lot of distress to that woman. So there needs to be a follow-up, and to help the mother stay detached from the child she's carrying, and that's very, very important, because again, we need to protect the surrogate mother, and I don't see any other way to do this, to make sure she doesn't get too distressed by the child she's carrying. And yeah, I think that's very important to protect the surrogate mother. We don't want to. Well, I mean, I don't want this to be done in a bad way. I don't want it to be used for gaining money or things like that. I think it's very, very important to put those limits in place. Another limit is, I think, a surrogate mother should already have had one child, because the first pregnancy is always specific, very particular for a woman, and I think it's going to be much harder for a woman having a surrogacy for the first pregnancy, because she is going to discover everything that goes with the pregnancy, but it's going to mix up with this feeling she needs to have that the baby is not hers. So I think that, again, to protect the surrogate mother, we need to make sure that hi, Kat. We need to make sure that women who apply for surrogacy, they need to have had already at least one child. And of course, there's the age and health situation that needs to be optimal for the women to risk the least possible during the pregnancy. So, yeah, obviously, we don't want this to be a trade or people making money with this. So it should be managed by the state, and the surrogate mother obviously shouldn't have to pay anything for the pregnancy, and that depends on the health system of the country. But she shouldn't have to pay for anything, of course. But she shouldn't have she shouldn't be given money for this. It should be done just for the will to help someone else. Maybe we can discuss this and allow, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000 euros, dollars, something like that. But I don't think it should be too big, because the money shouldn't be an incentive to do this. Again, to protect at the same time the surrogate mother and the parents or parent. So Purple Rhymes with Orange says, I had a friend in New York who would volunteer. She already had 2 kids and said she actually enjoyed being pregnant. I hope that there are some women who would volunteer, because I think it's the greatest gift you can give to anyone. Someone who wants a child but can't have one, and I speak for experience here. It gets so important in your life that if you find someone who's willing to give you this opportunity, it's the greatest gift possible. And yes, Ascalon, it's too easy to abuse it that way. Yes, if we allow surrogate mothers to get a lot of money with this, then we will see women getting abused, and we're going to see an underground trade, like with pretty much everything that touches with women, and we really don't want that. We don't. There's already a lot of problems with some situations where women are taken advantage of, and there's a lot of sex trade, a lot of child trafficking, and all this. We can't allow this to happen again. So we need to make sure the law is tightly written to avoid this. And one of the way to avoid this is to make sure the surrogate mother doesn't get money or very little. So I think that's pretty much everything. Again, as I said at the beginning, the surrogate mother cannot be genetically linked to the child, especially if the surrogate is part of the parent's family, because that can happen. It happens here in Belgium. So yeah, the surrogate mother cannot be genetically linked. So let me explain a little bit the situation in Belgium, because it's I think it's ridiculous. So it's not forbidden, and it's not allowed. So there are a few hospitals who do it. I think it's 4 in the entire Belgium, and so the parents have to come with a volunteer. They don't have a list because it's not allowed, and so the future parents need to find a surrogate and come with her and say, okay, this is her. She's going to carry our child, and that's extremely hard to do, because how do you ask someone, hey, I want to have a child. Can you please carry it? It's an impossible task to ask someone to do this, and it's a very tough topic to talk about. And finding someone in your friends, family to do it, I think it's very, very hard, because I tried and I couldn't find anyone. So yeah, parents here in Belgium, they are also not protected because since there is no law exactly saying how it should happen, if the surrogate mother decides to keep the child, then she can, and there's nothing the parents can do legally, and that's very, very dangerous because if you can imagine the trouble to go through all this procedure and the happiness and the how eager you are to finally have this child, and then when it's born it's taken away from you, and that's it's crazy. I don't think it happened already, except maybe in one case, but still the law allows it, and that limits a lot the search for people around you who can do it, because you need to be able to trust this person 100%. Otherwise, how can you be sure that they won't live with the child? I think this system is worse than when it's forbidden, because when it's forbidden, you go to another country. Okay, it's expensive, and maybe you don't have the money like I do, and so you don't do it. But I think it's better not to do it than do it and then being tricked in this way. So yeah, so the arguments I've heard against surrogacy, most of them are religious, like a child must have one father, one mother. So that's the most usual we hear. So obviously it's stupid. A lot of children already grow up and become very good people, and they didn't get two parents to grow up with, or they got two mothers or two fathers, or maybe more sometimes, and that doesn't hinder the possibilities of the child. On the contrary, the studies that have been led in the Netherlands, where it's allowed, it's been allowed for 3 years, I think. So now we have some data, and we can say how it goes for the children, because we are able to follow them. And so what we see is that they have very slightly superior results at school. They tend to be also a little bit more cases of violence, but that can be explained by the kind of violence they undergo in certain places. But other than that, in social economic status, everything is the same as for heterosexual parents. So this argument, one father, one mother, it just doesn't hold. Then I've heard the argument that we don't want baby farms. And as much as I understand and even agree on the sentiment behind this, I don't think, I think that's a slippery slope fallacy, because I don't think it will happen anyway, because only a few women are in first place are going to carry someone else's child. And even then, it's not what we advocate for. Like I said, we want this to be very exceptional. We don't want this to become the norm. We don't want either this tendency where rich women will avoid all these pregnancy issues, and so give this pregnancy to someone else. So we need to make sure that the parents who want to be uh, uh, to follow this procedure, they cannot have a child by themselves, because otherwise, yeah, we can move to this situation where rich people will not get pregnant anymore, and this pregnancy will become only for poor people, and we very much don't want this. So yeah, we need to make sure the parents or parent cannot have a child by themselves. And again, that's also very important to me. Protect the surrogate mother and the parents and the child. Yes, we don't want to let it become a fashion accessory. Yes, that's totally the idea. So what other argument have I heard? Yeah, yeah, I heard also that it doesn't concern a lot of people, so we shouldn't bother with it, basically. So yeah, I don't think this argument is worth answering because it's too stupid. But yeah, nothing more comes up at the moment. But yeah, that's the entire situation. The way I see it, we need to allow it, but in very very strict situations, and it needs to be followed and controlled by the state. I know saying this in the US is kind of a problem, but yeah, I think we need to put protections, and saying that it's too hard and it's too complicated to put in place, so we shouldn't do it because people won't understand, and the right will use it as a banner to gather more conservative people. Again, I understand the sentiment. Yeah, I understand the sentiment, but if we think about this this way, and we apply this reasoning to everything, then we will never progress. We need to make sure that sometimes we have to impose things to other people, like when France decided to allow everyone to get married in 2012. We rediscovered that there were some Catholics in France, and more than we thought, because so far we didn't hear anything about them. But then they used this to gather people around them, and they became this big group. But the law went through anyway, so we can't allow resistance and conservatism to go against the what should happen out of compassion and out of, to be fair, out of logic, because there is no, in my opinion, there is no logical argument against it. And for some people, as I said at the beginning, for some people, it's the only way to have children. So if some people desperately want children, they will take care of them the best they can. Again, doesn't mean they will do a perfect job, of course, but yeah, I think it's very important for some people. So yes, it's the understatement of the year. The US is kind of a problem. Yeah, true. But I don't think the US is the only case here. The Eastern Europe is getting more and more conservative, with Poland and other countries, maybe a little bit Italy too, where religious people are gaining back some power in governments. and they're imposing their view, you need to look at what happens in Poland, and it's scary. So yeah. So Ron MC, you say no, we should not advocate for surrogacy. Can you expand and say why? Yeah, in the meantime, if you have any question or any remark, please don't hesitate to say so in the chat. If you haven't done it, please like and subscribe and ring the bell and all this thing. Again, I still don't have any Patreon or any kind of monetization for this channel, and I probably won't. But if you want to help my channel, you have an Amazon wish list in the description, and you can buy me books because that's pretty much everything there is on this list. And those books will help me educate myself on some topics, and so this will benefit the channel in the end. So yeah, Ron, if you would like to explain what your reservations are. Ascalon says, were those EU surrogacy laws or local ones you were talking about? Does the EU even have a blanket policy on it? No, that's a prerogative of the different countries. The EU doesn't. I don't think they have power to legislate on this. Family laws are the prerogative of the states. However, the EU court could give their opinion on this if someone pressed charge and went up to this EU court, but this hasn't happened yet. I suspect that if someone here in Belgium, for example, went through the procedure and then the mother would leave with the child, they could go up to there, and maybe that would force the state in question here in Belgium to legislate. But other than that, no, the EU doesn't have the power to impose this on the countries, and I don't think it would happen anyway, because we have, as I said, some very, very religious and conservative countries here, so it wouldn't happen anyway. So Ron, last time, if you have something to say, please don't hesitate. I'll wait for this for a couple more minutes. So yeah, this week has been very, very interesting to me. I had 2 meetings with 2 different people, and in 2 days in a row, and it was fascinating because in both cases it opened for me the possibility to maybe teach critical thinking as I've wanted for some time. One may happen in a university here in Belgium, and another one is probably going to take more time. But yeah, we have this idea to create a structure where we could gather people around this idea and then organize ourselves to teach critical thinking to different publics according to our experience and knowledge and all that. But that's more a long-term idea. But yeah, it was very interesting. I met 2 very, very interesting people. So will you go with Mistress Professor or Professor Mistress? I don't know. I, I look into it. Mistress Professor Cindy or Professor Mistress Cindy. I think the second one sounds better. But yeah, I will let you know if something happens. If it's recorded, I will probably put it on my channel. But yeah, this was a very interesting week to me. So, Ron, you have nothing to say, or you typed a very, very long message. So, if anyone has any other question regarding the topic today, or even ideas about another topic that you would like me to cover, I think that the next episode will be something like why precept apologetics is dishonest and wrong, something like that. Because I have a lot of things to say about this. And so it will be next Friday or the week after. I most likely won't be doing anything during Christmas unless I have some inspiration. But yeah. So thank you all for being here with me today, tonight, today, this morning, depending on where you are. Thanks again. If you liked this episode or any other on my channel, please like, subscribe, ring the bell, and share it. And again, please take care of yourselves. Put your mask on. Get vaccinated, and take care of people around you. Maybe that's going to be actually the next topic. Why I think everyone should be vaccinated. That should be interesting too. So have a nice day, evening, everyone. Thank you again, and see you later.